welcome to another episode of Turing Developer Diaries, where we take you through the amazing lives of Turing's remote developers from across the globe. Hi, I'm Elena, tuning in from Gurgaon, India, and today we have with us Melissa, who is joining us all the way from Kenya. An expert in languages like Python, Django, JavaScript, amongst others, he has worked with big names like Microsoft and the government of Uganda. In the last 2 years at Turing, he has donned a number of hats, and today he heads the technical team in the shoes of a senior software engineer. Let's hear more from him about his experience of working with Turing. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alina. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Excited.
How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm very well. All is going well, and I was looking forward to this.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think we've created quite some aura about your introduction and about your background. So would you like to talk more about your experience this far, how it has been, and tell us more about yourself?
Okay, so my background, of course, is computer science. I started by teaching computer science. That was like the first thing that I did. And I went on to get onto real software engineering. So I was teaching computer science and computer programming, and I gravitated towards computer programming because it was one of the things that was my favorite right from the beginning. So, and then went on to get onto software engineering, the many different facets of it, and worked for quite a number of different companies, and some of them large ones, like you just mentioned, which is companies like Microsoft and Crossover. In some of the companies I was dabbling both leading some developers and actually being part of the engineering team, and so dabbling between those within that particular team. So I have also dabbled with community work as well, where I was actually working with the community, developing communities, while also doing some form of software development in some of those instances. So I've mostly worked in the office. In office work, where I would have a typical commute type of work, where I just wake up in the morning and then you commit, and then you're committed to 9 to 5 type of work. And then I started experiencing a little bit of kind of remote, but not fully remote, when I started working with Microsoft, where I had to sometimes work from home. Sometimes have to travel quite a lot, like almost every week or 2 weeks, I had to travel and be in a different country. And there was, of course, quite a lot of pressure through that. And I also worked for a company called Crossover, which was fully remote, but I had to be within the confines of certain particular hours of work, meaning I had a specific amount of time that I had to start work and I had to end at a particular time. It was really, really fixed. There was no flexibility of whether you can overlap or do anything like that. So that is my experience. I have also worked for companies or other organizations, where I've actually made quite some impact in terms of health, like AMREF and Infectious Diseases Institute, that really affect millions of lives of people here in Africa. And they exist in many different parts of Africa. That's why you'll notice that my experience spans quite different countries. It's because of that. Yeah, so that is basically my experience before I joined Turing.
Yeah, that looks very interesting. And I must say that the change from office to remote would have been very different, to say the least. How was it for you?
It was something that I was looking forward to, and I wanted the work-life balance. I wanted to be able to have some other activities that I would probably do, let's say in the morning, before I start work. There's some maybe exercises that I would want to do. So I was absolutely unfit. I had gained so much weight. I was beginning to have some little bit of health problems because of that. So I really wanted to have the work-life balance, work out in the morning, and find other things to do that I can do to just manage my health so that I don't have any issues. So it was more like necessary for me because my health had become a little bit of an issue at the time. I had to have work-life balance, and working remotely was good for me. I didn't have to have the commute. I didn't have to worry about traffic. I didn't have to worry about getting to work at a particular time frame. So I'll say that it was necessary for me at the time for my health and for my work-life balance, and for me to be able to manage my work-life balance.
So I absolutely agree with that point, actually, Melissa. I think remote work has its own perks. And in fact, I am very happy to be working remotely because I do not have to worry about commute. I do not have to worry about the flexibility that this work provides. And I think Turing has an amazing work culture, of course. And I think that's very important for all companies, I guess.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay, now Melissa, I see that you've been working in the software industry for 15 long years, and I must say that's been a pretty long time. And I'm sure that you must have a fair idea of how the interview processes work. Now, in that respect, how different was Turing's hiring process?
Okay, so I would say that the Turing hiring process is much more structured to get your knowledge and experience and see if it actually fits with the US companies. So some of my experiences were when during other interviews with other companies had been in such a way that you're asked a specific question which is related to a specific technology or a specific piece of software, which is not very holistic, if you ask me. So you may be asked a question like maybe what are the commands that you can use in Redis? You may have spent, let's say, a year without using Redis. So that does not capture your holistic knowledge of the technology stack that you're supposed to work with. So Turing is different in that you get tested in algorithms and data structures. You get tested in a particular tech stack. And during that process, you also are tested in just some few language features, which makes basic holistic test. And during all that, there is some analytical information that can be obtained, which replaces, or rather reflects your ability as a developer, not just one thing, So my experiences have been like that, where in some cases, the questions are not relevant for developers. In some cases, some questions are not, or they're relevant for developers, but they're very narrow in that they focus on like just one specific thing, yeah.
I think that's very true. It's very important for companies to focus on questions that are relevant to developers and especially their skill sets. And I think Turing has been doing a great job this far.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm sure the developers listening to us will be very excited and very intrigued to hear more about this. Here, I would like to add and emphasize the fact that Turing has job opportunities with elite US companies in 100 plus technologies. If you feel that you're confident in your skill sets, you can head on to turing.com/jobs today and apply and sign up today itself. Now, moving on to you, Melissa, I'm sure that it would have been a challenging process, especially the hiring process for you. But if you are to look back on the entire process at this point in time, what do you feel? And what would your message be to aspiring developers who are looking to apply to Turing?
Okay, so my message would be, in most cases, as developers, we don't really like tests. I don't know whether there is anybody that really do like tests or to be, to be vetted in any way. So the vetting process is in itself designed to just evaluate your knowledge, and it's something that you can take and retake, and it's something that you probably need to build confidence on by practicing on HackerRank or on some of those other platforms. You need to practice on some other platforms like HackerRank, and so that you can get up to speed with your knowledge on algorithms and data structures and how to basically do some problem solving. Yeah. So it's always good to do that, and then you can revise your knowledge or related to computer science knowledge, and that shouldn't be quite hard if you are prepared. So because Turing is going to test you on that, so you have to be ready to be tested on your tech stack, and so you have to be ready to be tested on that. So it could be Python, Django, it could be React Node or React Angular or Ruby on Rails. Just make sure that you are ready to answer questions related to how you can actually build applications using those particular stacks. But of course, the stacks are quite wide, and I'm sure you'd be able to see them on the page where you can do the test. So that should make it much simpler for you to do. Yes.
Okay, so would you like to give any expert tips to all developers out there? Any particular thing that they should definitely prepare before sitting for the tests?
Yeah, so definitely you need to just make sure that your internet is ready, and your microphone, and that is for the interview. So even for the test, you need to have good internet. There is other things that are looked at when you're being vetted at Turing. So things like communication skills. Your English needs to be good. You need to have a good communication skills in a way, and you need to have good internet, good connectivity with your camera webcam. That is going to help you very much with the technical interview. So those are some of the other things that you need to prepare. But besides that, you need to prepare your technical areas of expertise. That is the algorithms, data structures, and your tech stack.
Of course. That's very important, I guess. Before anything, before even sitting for the test, I think it's very important to ensure that you're prepared for it. And of course, you need to take care of the technicalities. Your camera, your voice, the mic, and everything should be in place. Now, Melissa, you've worked in the software industry for quite some time, and you've even worked with American companies like Microsoft. How different was your experience of working with Turing? And is there anything in particular that you would like to talk about here?
Yeah, so one thing that I found very different with Turing is the fact that it's fast-paced, very fast-paced and fast-moving. So things move very, very quickly and iterate very, very quickly. So there could be something that we're doing last week can be changed quickly just to readjust and fix and just continuously improve. So that's what makes it different than many other companies that I've worked for. Many companies that I work for, they do not have that agile process of executing tasks. So I'm much more aligned to that type of work environment where I like fast, dynamic type of environment where things are not always the same every day.
Okay, that's interesting. Also, I'm sure a lot of your fellow developers have this one particular question about time zones. Turing has developers from across the globe, and I'm sure that people are concerned about having to work in one particular time zone. What would you say? How did you manage working remotely in a different time zone, that is the US time zone? How did that pan out for you?
Yeah, so with Turing, there is actually that flexibility where you to overlap by only 4 hours. And in most cases as well, or some of the clients, then they don't really care about that, as long as they can see your commits and your comments and all that, and you can communicate and collaborate through Slack. They don't really care so much about that. You may have like maybe sprint meetings or something like that where you can connect. But for me, it was 4 hours overlap, and I can choose whether it's in the evening or it's in the morning, whichever works, and we can agree as a team on when we can have the sprint meetings. So that was not an issue for me because I could adjust easily for that based on my time zone.
That's impressive, actually. And I think this is why we like calling it boundaryless and not really remote.
Oh yes, yes, yes. It's boundaryless, and the world is flat. So as Jonathan says, sometimes opportunity is scarce, but the talent is everywhere.
Of course, of course. I believe in the span of 2 years, you must have had, numerous stories and tales to tell. Now, if you were to talk about a few ways in which Turing has left an impact on your life, what would you say?
So working with Turing has impacted me so much in my life in the way that I've worked with some of the most smartest people in the world from different parts of the world, and all those people working together as a team. So that to me has worked very well. And in 2 years, in a fast-paced environment, you can imagine that. So that has really, really helped me to learn quite a lot of things. At the same time, try and catch up in quite a lot of different things as well. So it has affected me like that.
Okay,
And
so
in a way as well, inspired me as well as a person. Yeah.
okay, that's actually very nice and a very nice thing to say. If I were to summarize everything you just said in one statement, would it be fair to say that if you are to join Turing someday, you'd be rest assured that only good things will come your way?
Oh yes, yes, and you don't need to apply anywhere else as well. That's the thing, because it's long-term career. I've worked at Turing for more than 2 years now, so it's not a gig. It's not a short-term gig. It's a career.
Of course. I think this is very important to note here. As Melissa just mentioned, if you join Turing once, you'll never have to apply to any other job ever again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very interesting discussion, Melissa, and I think it is time to bring this to a close. But in the end of it, before you go and before we let you go, if there is one thing that you would like to talk about and one expert tip that you would like to give all developers out there, especially about the Turing test, what would it be?
I would say don't fear the test. It's not something that you should fear. It's holistic. Just be confident to take it and go on with it, because you can retry it again. Many people, when they try for the second time, they pass, and that's it. So you can try it as many times as you want, but it's important to prepare for it, so that you don't have to go through many of those retrials.
Of course. And thank you so much for sharing such valuable piece of advice. I agree with you. And I think all developers must prepare themselves beforehand before they actually sit for the test. It's very important. And always remember that you can always retry, you can always resit for the test in a matter of 3 months. So that is also one thing that you can keep in mind. But yes, of course, you need to prepare. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your views about Turing with us. We are glad to have you as a part of our ever-growing family at Turing, and we hope that this interview reaches the larger developer community and helps us give many more such opportunities to developers like you. To everybody out there, we'd be happy to answer any and every question that you have. Feel free to drop us an email at support@turing.com. Let us know in the comments below how you like this video and give us a big fat thumbs up if you like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to Turing.com. We will see you next time in the upcoming videos in Turing Developer Diaries and Turing Dev Talks. Till then, stay safe, stay home, and click on the link in the description below to apply to Turing. Thank you.